So, we're here with Roger Parsons. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm well.
Wonderful.
Everything on that side cool?
Everything's absolutely amazing on this side. We'll kick straight off with some of the questions. When you first started the first season of Pokemon, did you think it was going to be such a massive success? Do you think it was still going to be going in 16 years?
I don't think anybody imagined it would last this long. I mean, everybody in the cast kind of knew that this had been a big enterprise in Japan. But when it came over here, I guess it was anyone's guess. Would it work? Would it not work in USA? And I guess history has spoken louder than any prognostication possible.
Indeed.
You spoke about the cast. Did you get to spend much time with them at all?
Well, in the early days, Pokemon USA, which was the company that sort of ran things both during the reign of 4Kids and then when Pokemon took it over, was in New York. And they used to have an annual, Christmas party. So everybody got a chance to meet everybody else. When the company moved from New York to Washington State, that sort of ended, which was, we don't spend as much time together, but a lot of us who are still around, we'll get together occasionally. Carter Cathart being one. I guess JC is still around. Tom Whalen, Lisa Ortiz, both of whom are with Duart, which is the current producer of the series. Tom being the engineer on most of the sessions.
Obviously, with the success of the first series, there was the movie. First of all, how was that to be part of a movie, and how different was it recording to the show?
Well, short form, an episode, is different than long form, a movie, in that, not so much for me because I just essentially introduced the show.
Yeah.
Of course, I did occasionally do characters from time to time, but it's much more difficult to maintain character for a long period of time if that character is manufactured, not sort of part of your being. And I think a lot of the performers who do Pokemon, maybe they're a little like me. They've always had these characters bouncing around in their brain, and Pokemon was the chance to let them out in some form. So I think not only do people maintain character well, but the cool thing was that since everybody's enjoying what they're doing, ask me to do something I love.
Well,
do you think you'll get a good result? I wonder.
Absolutely.
So you love doing Pokemon?
It's fun. It's a really fun thing.
Did you get the chance to do any promotion for the shows or any premieres or conventions or anything like that?
Well, there is some stuff on the website. I've done some spots for Pokemon and other Nintendo products. So I think it's a natural to have somebody like the narrator do stuff like that because the narrator is a recognizable audio entity in the commercial world. And one of the movies had Don LaFontaine. You guys are familiar with Don LaFontaine, right? He's Mr. Trailer USA.
Yeah.
And here he is introducing the show, and he was using his scariest voice. And I kept wondering, why would you want to scare your audience when what you really should be doing is inviting them?
Why aren't you doing all the trailers for US movies?
That's a good question.
I think you should.
I do get a few, and it is a lot of fun. That's another really cool thing, where you're in the studio for about 4 hours, because it's not just one trailer, it's several trailers. Trailers are regional items, and different things are stressed in different markets. But the other thing is, there's also the TV and the radio spots. So you're hanging out for quite a while in that studio. That's all I got to say on that one.
Okay, well, a lot of people on Twitter were asking things. These are a lot of questions that all of Pokemon fans wanted to know. The first one was, what was your favourite episode or moment from the show or any of the movies?
Well, what I really like, and I know it's corny, but I've always loved Team Rocket, and that's sort of, if Darth Vader were a stand-up comic, that's sort of like what you get with Team Rocket. And as opposed to Team Plasma, who are really scary guys.
Yeah.
But right through the series, it's great to break tension. You know, when there's a problem, somebody's lost, whatever. Along they come with some evil plan, which they then completely foul up, and much to the entertainment of the audience. And it's a great device in any show. Comedy.
Definitely. And that's not corny at all. That's an excellent answer.
Yeah. What, in terms of characters, you briefly mentioned Team Rocket. Did you have any favorite characters, or were they your favorite character? Or?
Well, it's interesting, as you watch the series, I don't know if you can even say it evolves. It changes shows from time to time.
Yeah. But
on the Cartoon Network, they tend to, you can see episodes from way back, and it's really kind of interesting. I forget, what is it over... I don't know, is it up to 800 episodes now? 750 or some?
It's just gone to about 750 now, so that's a lot of episodes.
That's a ton of stuff, and so it's really, there's so much there, and the thing is, there's a consistency in the show, so that even if you go back a whole bunch of episodes, there's new stuff, there's interesting stuff, and of course there's all the I have no idea what the Pokemon count is.
It's 649.
I know I did something called Pokemon Battle Frontier or something like that. It was a game.
Yeah,
and at that time there were 490. And I remember having to, in the studio, do all 490. One by one. Wow. That took quite a while.
I'm sad enough to probably know most of them as well.
Yeah. Oh.
Not sad enough. Well, excellent.
No, it's quite an effort.
Yeah.
It's quite an effort.
Speaking of all Pokemon, do you have any particular favourite one? This was the main question that we got asked. Which one is your favourite Pokemon, if you have one?
Well, I've always liked Pikachu because I think one of the elements of the character of that little creature is the loyalty and the... I kind of love it when you get knocked down, you get back up. You get knocked down, you get back up. And of course, that's the kind of thing that one has come to expect from Pokemon characters. I also like the vocal, the Japanese woman who plays the role of Pikachu. I like the way she does it.
Yeah.
The little ways she sort of inflects, Pika Pika. You know, and it's just, I guess you've found, the interesting thing is you see that symbol on everything. And that's not the reason I like the character. It's because of what's in the character itself. Yeah. That little creature that everyone has come to know and love.
Indeed. Oh, because when we had an interview with Veronica Taylor, the voice of Ash, I said that I'd recently read at the time that when the Japanese first made it, the plans weren't to have Pikachu as the main Pokemon. It was going to be like Clefairy, a different Pokemon. Now that would, I don't know how I think that would have been weird. What do you think?
Well, it's easy to sort of second guess stuff like that, but the Pikachu stuff sells incredibly well.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not the only fan. I know I could be wrong.
Well, as you say that, I'm sat in the studio with 3 different Pikachu items around me, so obviously it's worked.
Another fan, eh?
Yeah, well, I kind of got to be. It is what I love doing. You mentioned that you've done some promo and stuff for that. Have you been given any like interesting free stuff, or have fans sent you anything odd? Do you get much Pokemon merchandise?
Well, you know what's great? When these parties used to happen, you got things like, I remember getting a great big puffy Pikachu white robe, little glasses with the Pikachu symbol on them. And of course, everybody who did the movie got a cast jacket. Like if you're in a Broadway play or a motion picture here, somebody within the administrative side gets these jackets made, and that's sort of cool. It's the Pokemon movie with a huge Pikachu on the back. The biggest Pikachu I've ever seen.
Wow.
That's cool.
So it's cool. It's cool.
That is very cool. As I mentioned, like a lot of people on Twitter and on our Facebook's page really excited and asking questions. One person did say, and I suppose I better tell you this, but he said, you were the voice of his childhood, so thank you for that.
Wow.
I bet that's nice to know, isn't it?
Well, it's incredible. And, you know, the thing about doing the role of the narrator, what I tried to do with that was to create that great narrator of old that used to be on a radio and television in America.
Yeah.
Because if you listen, I don't know, have you ever heard the original Japanese narrator?
I haven't. Well, I suppose I have, but
because he's very consistent.
Is he?
And he pushes with a very strong presentation. What I try to do, as opposed to just doing it the same way every time, or staying, let's say, within a very narrow range of characterizations, if there's a mysterious opening, play the mystery. If there's a happy opening, smile a bit with the announcement. You see what I mean? So that
I do, yeah.
So that you're more reflective of what's coming rather than just the same old announcer. But that's just me.
Excellent.
And far be it from me to criticize anyone.
Another question we had was from, well, again, somebody else was saying they want you to do all their voicemail announcing and things like that. Another question we've had on Twitter is, how is narrating the show? How has that changed from when it started and from obviously how it is today?
Well, you know, for me, it's pretty consistent. You come in, you have 1, 2, or 3 shows. You look at the story. You listen to the music. You figure out what's the best way to do that, because the words, you have to make the words work. You have to make them interesting. You know, I think it's what always surprises me is there are very few shows where there is a narrator at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's it's a kind of traditional form. I think the only one that's here in New York is the Law and Order series.
Yeah.
Where they have the announcer or the narrator introducing the show. Mm-hmm. And it's been kind of fun because in a way it keeps alive that tradition of the narrator, the storyteller, the person with whom you enter the story and with whom you leave the story. So it's an interesting way. It's an interesting preservation of a broadcast form.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It has.
Well, Nate and Rick, it's been a pleasure for me too, and I wish you all the best with going forward with this show. I'm sure there's tons of stuff. If there isn't 100 shows out of 750 episodes, I don't know what to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care. Best of.